Hello and welcome to Who Dares What. I'm your host Meg B in another rumbly tumbly mumbly jumbly for April maybe, I don't, anyway, whatever. No, it's March. I don't, April, March, it's whatever month. What the fuck is going on? Anyway, yes, so here we are. How are we all? We are doing well. Know what day of the week it is. Know what month, year it is. Good, excellent. You're ahead of me on that one. Here we go then. Another week of stuff. Another week of just my mind has wandered to politics, which I don't want to dwell on. But what the actual fuck? Really? I am so done. Please, someone just go and hang some of them. That's what I would like. I'd love a nice revolution and the guillotine. Solved a lot of issues. Just chuck a couple of them in. I'd soon fucking stand in line with that going on. Anyway, games. We've been playing some games. Stuff's been happening. Things are going on. There's some news to share and other stuff. So why not settle yourself down with a warm vole, and that's crack on with what I've been playing. Played games. We played some games, which is nice after the last couple. So, over a week ago now, if memory serves me correctly, I sat down and Ben brought along Everdell, and we played that. Not Everdell. I believe it was, and has subsequently been another Kickstarter. It is essentially, at its core, kind of Imperial Settlers, an engine buildery card game with your generating resources to buy other cards and da-da-da-da-da. That's it, pretty much, at a nub. However, that's echoed, faint, good acoustics there. However, it's been overproduced massively. They've got this giant cardboard tree that serves no discernible purpose other than to hold a couple of cards. And the problem is, when we're playing it, is Robbie sat here next to me. He's actually, half the fucking board is obscured by a fucking evergreen on the table. So he can't actually see the other bits on there. So I don't understand this. A table presence, certainly. Oh my goodness, you have a tree. But yeah, I don't get it, because it really literally serves no fucking purpose at all, other than to hold a couple of cards. But you know, it's very terrible and painful. How do I feel about Everdell? You know, it was all right. I played it. I know there's about 200 expansions for it, so I'm sure they probably add more to it. I felt the base game of the one play, and this is one play, felt the base game was a bit limited in what the cards did, because I cycled through those cards. The idea of it basically is very Imperial Settlers, 51st State. You play cards into a tableau that will generate you stuff or give you actions. And most of them, you're there one time, you put them down, they do something, and then later on in the game, they will trigger a harvest stage, which is twice during the game, to give you more. So some of them, ideally, you want to play out earlier. A lot of the cards are linked to other cards in that you've played one character out or one building out. I'm trying to remember now. That it links, like Seven Wonders, to another piece of technology or character or whatever. And if you have the first one of that set out, you can then play the other one out for free. And that's kind of it. You're, like Imperial Settlers, you're generating an income of various bits and pieces to allow you to then trade that in to put a card out that does something else that does the thing. And some of them give you in-game scoring. Some of them do stuff straight away. Some of them generate more stuff. And that's it. And to be honest, that's it really. There isn't, I don't mean, other than a cardboard tree, there isn't anything, and some nice components. It's not really doing anything that has not been done before. I quite like that style of game, but I think I would rather play 51st State or something, because A, I don't have to fucking deal with the tree, but secondly, the aesthetics are that a bit better, and thirdly, there's a bit more meat on those bones. This felt, after I cycled through the deck, actually there was a very limited amount of options of what you could do. There's only so many of certain cards, and what it was doing was fine. Just like, well, I've played that game already without the tree, and yeah, whatever. So yeah, I was left kind of like, yeah, whatever. Okay, fine. It has a tree, which is nice. I think I got over the point that there was a tree in it. I could set the tree on fire, would be quite exciting. But yeah, other than that, I don't understand. Then, obviously, the Easter weekend. Oh, the Easter weekend. So my intention was and plan was that we were going to play something, and then I wanted to do a post-play video discussion piece. However, it being the bank holiday weekend, we ended up playing Twilight Imperium. Of course, we would play Twilight Imperium. And we played a 4-player game of that. I was the Manhat Gene Sorcerers or something, I think. I want to say that. That's what I'm saying now. Robbie was the Pacific Rim Dinosaur things, Vortex things, and I can't remember the other two guys picked. And so we played that, and we played that till maybe 1 in the morning, I think. I want to say I won quite significantly. I really did win a lot. Jamie ran into a problem that he'd built when we built the map. We drafted the things and built the map. That him and Robbie were pretty much on each other's toes. So they were constantly infighting and fighting, and Robbie absolutely fucking hammered Jamie very early game, and he never really came back from that. He was pretty fucked, actually, and had a resting bitch face for quite a significant time. But yeah, no, I just basically focused on the points, what the agendas were, the points were, and what I could score. And my guys had a brilliant ability in that if you win a fight against an opponent, you take one of their tokens and it goes into your fleet pool. Essentially, it's giving you a larger fleet for free. You can max that up to how many players are at the board. That was its kind of real thing, and actually that is a real key piece of the puzzle. But yeah, it was a good one. I managed through some incompetence of the honor parts and luck win it. I know I took control of Mechatol Rex and held it because Tony then attacked Mechatol Rex with this massive space fleet, and I'd already evacuated, I think, pretty much, leaving just one troop and a PDS, a gun re-emplacement on it. And he invaded with this huge armada, a fleet of multiple ships, but he only brought one fucking army. So he moved into the airspace, dropped this one dude down and gets shot down by the PDS and never makes it to ground. And he can't take over the fucking planet. So I held it for like another couple of rounds, and a similar thing happened with Robbie's homeworld. Again, similar sort of situation. So through that level of stupidity by other people, I was able to win the game. But as always, TI4 is a fantastic game. It is a long game, but it is an experience. It is an event. It is something you can discuss later. As we said, it's that water cooler moment board game. And I do love a bit of TI4. I will come on to more of that later. And then, what did we do? Oh, The Thing! Fuck my fucking granny in that fucking puckered dead arsehole. Yes, The Thing. So we played The Thing, the new one from Pendragon Games. We played a 5-player game of it on Friday night. I'd run through the rules separately. I'd read the rulebook and gone, what the fuck is happening? Because there was just some omissions in there, and maybe not everything was quite as well kind of... most of the rules are there, just not necessarily in the correct place or order. However, I did kind of get an idea. Then I played for a couple of rounds on my own here, and that kind of went, okay, I now kind of understand the flow of this. So we played that on Friday, and I had a pretty good feel that I got a good grasp of how that would work. Essentially, The Thing, the board game, is The Thing, the movie it's based on. It is a hidden traitor game, so think Battlestar Galactica, Resistance, Avalon, any of that sort of stuff. We've obviously had The Thing, Infection Out Past 1, as well as Who Goes There, which I've never seen or played, unfortunately, but it was always on my radar. I backed this kind of blind to a certain extent because it's The Thing. I skimmed over it and went, I wasn't 100% sold at the Kickstarter, but I was like, this might work. So what I say, 5-player, number one, I will say, is I believe this game will really shine, as most of these type of games do, at a higher player count. And this one plays up to 8, I believe, which 8 would be carnage. But they would love to do it. I don't think so much that it's gonna work very well at 4. It kind of works at 5. There is rules to play it solo and up to 3 players, which I'm definitely now inspired to give it a shot, because I think potentially once I grok that rules, I think adding that into the 4-player mix, depending how it works, might be how you boost the numbers and make it a bit more interesting. But anyway, I'll leave that for the minute. So yeah, 5-player, the thing. So yes, the actual gameplay is fairly basic in that you send your character to a location on the board. Everyone puts one card into a card pool that is then, like Battlestar Galactica, it will be played out. Except there was only about 3 or 4 options on these cards. There was either to sabotage, to use a location, or to repair it. And you have 4 cards in your hand. You pick one of them, and it goes in, and that gets shuffled, and there's one random in there. And then the leader pulls these cards and has the choice, A, how many of those cards they will pull. They could, in theory, go, no, fuck it, I'm going to do any of them. But pulls the cards, and then when it comes up, they have to then assign that action to one of the characters in one of the rooms and the things. And the rooms will do anything from give you extra cards for weapons or equipment, repair areas, send a radio signal, keep the generator, boiler, yeah, I think it's a boiler, running to keep heat and electricity in the site, and that. Now, it does a lot of things that I really love about games, like I think like Lifeform, and earlier, like 1980s, 90s games, we said about the games that have kind of a lot of overhead of rules, but minutiae rules, that add thematic bits. And this is that type of game. There is a lot of bits going on. It's a bit busy in the rules, and the rule book, as I say, is all right, serviceable, but it misses a few key points, but fine, I've now resolved that. But I do like that there is a lot of ifs, buts, maybes in there. What a nice touch is, so in the original, in the Thing Outpost 31, there was a good possibility that we worked out that if the Thing player essentially sat on their hands and played as a human the entire game, then they could, in theory, get out and win the game without really minimum effort. Very boring fucking night. We've played the Thing Outpost 31, we played with Ben, and it was an astounding evening's entertainment. At CabinCon we played it. I've told this story before, and there was about 8 of us. I mean, at a certain point in the game, you have an option to play a card in that game, which is to tie someone to a couch. Which, if you've seen the movie, Gary is tied to a couch, and he has a classic line, I'd rather love not to spend the rest of this fucking winter tied to a couch. So anyway, I did that to Ben, and at a vital voting moment in that game, this big game we were having of it, tied him to step out of the voting, couldn't have a play in it, and he lost his fucking shit. Absolutely lost his shit. He's misremembers this to this day and says that didn't happen, but it fucking did. Anyway, that's aside the point. Ben was there last time we played this. So we played this. What I like is that there isn't necessarily that strategy in here. When you enter a room with another player, or players, you look at discs in front of you. You have 3 identity discs. 2 of them are human, one's the Thing. If you are the Thing player, what you can do is either put 2 humans forward, if you so wish, or a Thing and a human token. And then you each exchange 1 token each to look at. And if you are human and you pick it up and it's the Thing token, you are then infected. You've been assimilated, so you're now a Thing. Obviously, it's human, nothing happens. Now, there's a side note, and then we get into the rules. There's another thing, a little bit addition to that if you're holding a weapon, then that doesn't take place. Essentially, you're like, get the fuck away from me. We're going to do the job we're doing, but you stay the fuck over there, which I like. It's a nice thematic little bit of rules going on there. So there is a chance that even the Thing player will lose track of who's infected, because you've kind of got this Chinese whispers type situation going on where there could be subsequent reinfections. You could potentially be playing a game towards the end where everybody's infected, and not everybody knows that, which is great, which kind of falls into the movie. It's thematically wonderful mistake, accident, I feel, in some certain extent. Maybe it's planned. But yeah, in the movie there's essentially is they don't always know, you get the feel that the creature's independently not sure who is the Thing. So yeah, I really like that. I thought that was really cool. We didn't have much of that going on because actually we got weapons quite early on, and so there was a lot of stay the fuck away from these. But we reached points where the generator ran out. So if that happens, you're plunged into darkness, and essentially you could then have to randomly place cards into the deck, which is disastrous. If the boiler runs dry, which nearly did in ours, if it's broken and destroyed, then you run out of heat and you start slowly freezing to death. You can set up fire to areas of the camp to keep yourself alive for a bit longer, which again is a lovely thematic touch. Yeah, so generally it plays very well actually. Once you played it, we had a few hiccups as we went through because around the generator and that, because I'd missed the initial rules, but I liked the whole how that was working. We never had a Thing expose itself. So Bob actually ended up being the Thing, and he had managed to infect Rich at one point, leaving 3 of us human and 2 Things amongst us. And essentially what happens is we'd radioed for a rescue copter, and it was on the way and it landed. Pretty much all the fuel ran out, all the food had run out. We were in dire straits at this point in time. So Ben gets on the copter and he's least suspicion. That's another thing I didn't say. This is like having a conversation with a 90-year-old man. Every time you have an interaction with people in rooms or something, or tests or votes even can take place, your suspicion track rises up, which kind of is a nice visual representation that you're probably a bit dodgy. But also when it comes to rescuing, with the rescue effort, always the person with the least suspicion is the first on the rescue helicopter. And then they have first refusal of anyone else who comes on. Ben allowed Bob on, who then subsequently exposed himself as a thing and won the game. So it was great. I really enjoyed it. We didn't touch on nearly enough of the other bits meats of the game. No one has say exposed himself as a thing, which adds another mechanism of stuff in rooms and things. There's a few like mini expansion bits in there which I've not put into the game yet because I think we need to just grok how it works first of all. And I like the idea that you can have this infection stuff going on. And again, I felt with the weapons that a lot of that was being stopped, but clearly early doors, I think the one incident where Bob and Rich shared a room together, he actually got him. So yeah, I mean, it's very cool. I do think it's really good. I think rules, wibbles aside, which are not disastrous, there's a lot of meat to that. I think it does a very good job of capturing the idea of the thing and actually works very well, and I like that it's got all that little minutiae of rules in it. I would love to play this a higher player count, because I think at definitely 6, 7 or an 8 player game would be astoundingly good, because there would be a lot less options. You'd be cramped for where you're going. There's going to be a lot more opportunity for people to be meeting in rooms, and definitely at that point shit's going to get real. It feels a little bit, at the lower player counts, there's a lot of spinning wheels to keep control of. A bit Dead of Winter-ish, that you're trying to keep the food on the table and you're trying to keep the generators running as well as find yourself weapons and stuff. And it feels, the lower player counts, even 5, that we were stretched to try and do everything we wanted to do. And with these cards going in as well, they limit potentially your options you've got. So I feel that's the only thing is the problem. I'm not convinced at the moment in time it plays great at the lower. I might over the weekend try and get a 4-player game of it in, but I've got so much else backing up now. I do want to play it some more. I'm just not convinced 4-player is going to work great. I feel they're going to have a lot to do, and it's going to leave you running into all separate rooms to do those things, which means the chance of actually cross-contamination anyway might be less likely. There's all this anyway. Anyway, so yeah, the Thing board game, Pledge Games, I think it hits retail pretty soon. I will say I give it a good nod at the moment, 1 play. But yeah, I'm happy with it. It is doing a very good job of the Thing. For me, hot take off of based against Outpost 31 and this new version, I would say this new version is a much better version of the Thing. I like Outpost 31. It's a bit broken with what I've said before. Whereas this seems a lot better, a thematically nicer version of it, how it works out. So yeah, that's my hot take at the moment. I will down the road, once I play a few more games of the Thing and maybe dig up a Possibility 1 again, do a comparison video. I think this seems a thing to do, because I like talking about the Thing anyway. I've done a lot of talking. Let us do the fucking news. The news with me. Here is the news. On the news, so yes, straight off the gate is Twilight Inscription has been put out by FFG. This is news this last few days. Twilight Inscription is a roll and write, set up 3 times fast, version of Twilight Imperium. A roll and write Twilight Imperium. Yeah, the box doesn't look great, does it? I don't know where I come on this. It's really weird. And I don't mean that I don't know where I come on this. I mean, I'm not that. Where do I land? I don't know. My initial thing was like, okay, maybe, but I don't know. My head is spinning. It's like I'm not completely down on it, but I'm not also like yes, because I'm like, well, how long is this fucking thing going to play for? And what's the point of having a roll and write place for 12 hours? Is it just going to be Twilight Imperium, but you're writing it? I don't know. But I'm definitely interested. I can't say I'm not like completely like get the fuck out of here. I'm kind of like, I'm going to rubberneck this for a while because I don't know. I really don't know at this point in time. Part of me is appalled and part of me is like, yes, fucking of course I want that. I didn't think we were going to see any real decent expansion to TI4, to be honest, over the 20th anniversary thing, because it's kind of, what else could you add to that box? There's maybe a few more modular bits you could chuck in, but to be honest, I think we're reaching the point where there's not much more you can do without ridiculously overcomplicating the game. At least for the time being. So yeah, I wasn't expecting add-ons to it. The codex stuff has been pretty good, and maybe another one of them would be nice. But yeah, I don't know. So we've got Twilight Inscription. So that's why I stand at the moment. Until we see more, we've not seen much. They've shown us a box and shown us things, and they've said it's going to be epic. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm not the world's biggest Roll and Wait fan, if I'm honest with you. I did quite enjoy the recent Kickstarter from the company whose name escapes me, and the game name escapes me, but it's to do with pirates and stuff. That stuff. And they're doing a new one soon. I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. That's all I'm giving you. Anyway, yeah, so there is that. Twilight Inscription. So watch this space? I don't know, really. There you go. That's a real hot take. I don't have a fucking clue. I really don't. I'm kind of almost a little bit struck dumb by the news, I feel. I'm like, I don't know if it's quite penetrated yet. So what else? Then GF9 have just announced they're doing a Firefly misbehaving deck building game. So that sounds cool. It's 4-player, coming from GF9. Now we've had a brief dalliance with deck building Firefly game when a legendary Firefly encounters whoever came up from Upper Deck, I think it was, with the most appalling fucking art in the world on it. I've never played it. It's based on the legendary game. It was just done with Firefly, but it looked just like a child's fucking outfit. It's just appalling how you could professionally put out a product with that level of, it's awful fucking art is beyond me. GF9 tend to go down the photographic images route, and I'm sure they pretty much have it all anyway. I like having a stroke live on air. No, I like deck building games, and I like Firefly. So, you know, it's a kind of sexy sandwich of Firefly deck building stuff that I can get behind. So I will, for the time being, go, okay. Yep, interested. We'll see. And that's it. That newsworthy is, but that's been it for the news. There's not really much else. Nothing else enticed me. So what else we got going on? Well, I had a box come to me. I'm going to check that this is still recording because it's been going on forever and I don't want to miss anything. So you're just going to have to fucking wait there for a second while I check check the gate. Oh, there's a fucking thing behind me. Twat buggery. Time for some Dr. P, I feel, as well while we're at it. Hold that. I had a box and Portal Games. So in there was some lovely items. So we have Guttenberg. Now this is not designed by Ignacy, this is designed by these guys up here. They've got names that are not English, and I will murder them. And I haven't got my glasses on. That's fine. That is... No, that's still not happening. Anyway, these guys, they did Guttenberg. Now, Guttenberg is based on the original inception and creation of... Guttenberg was the guy behind it, the printing press. And he actually went to bankruptcy in the end because he was a shit businessman, great innovator. So, yeah, this looks pretty cool. It's already got a seal of the seal of excellence from the Hat Man, Fat Hat Man. Says it's good, so you know that's something to go on. I mean, he plays fucking hundreds of games, so what does he know? But yeah, I will say it looks nice. I've skimmed through the I flicked through the rules. They seem relatively straightforward. It's a bit of a Euro engine builder thing, but the component quality is really quite nice. We've got the player boards on here, and you've got spinning discs and all that sort of stuff will be going on. What is kind of cool is they've got this kind of little set of tack boxes in there, which when you pop everything and sort it all out, you can put it all in the little chart boxes. I was like, oh, that's quite nice. So that's quite a nice presentation. There's cogs, spinning cogs and wearing cogs. There's a lot of kind of that toy quality to what's going on. It looks pretty cool. And I'll put it back in the box. I'll take some shots in a minute. But there's also these like the little letters. So there's actually like wooden bits of the letters that you could build to make your printer press, and spinning wheels and stuff. A bit zonking, but I am interested. I mean, I'm not the world's biggest Euro, but I do like a decent sort of engine buildery sort of thing, and I love that there's a lot of spinning parts, quite literally in this one, and the component quality is quite nice. It's quite cool. It's that whole thing about this is contains no plastic except for the fucking shrink wrap that was around it, but that was an own goal. But yeah, Guttenberg. So that's pretty cool. I like the look of that. Hatman says it's fucking good. So there we go. So I'll be hopefully playing out the weekend, conceivably. But there you go. Thank you, Mr. Ignacy. That's lovely of you. He's a very nice man. But hold the fucking front porch, if you will. This turned up as well. Now, this is Everybody Lies. This is from Portal. This is from designer Ignacy Chevacek and Veronica Spira. I'm going to say that as that. That might not be right, but that's what I'm going with. This is the Batman detective game. If you've been following my ramblings for any period of time, I have long, and I do mean long, in the many years, and I don't know how long detective's been doing the rounds, but at least probably 4 to 5 years, I feel. Maybe 8, maybe longer. I don't know. Who fucking knows? I don't know what month it is. That Batman and the detective system would be just a marriage made in heaven. And he never acknowledged it. He's not denied it, but he never said anything. And then in the last start of the year, they announced this bad boy. Wow. So just to get it clear, I am probably a quite significant Batman fan. I have a significant Batman collection of comic books from the mid to late 80s through to sometime in the 90s, maybe even late 90s. I was collecting everything Batman. I've got Batman Detective, the Legends of the Dark Knight that came out. I don't know if that's still running even as a comic series anymore. I might even have the complete run of that. Shadow of the Bat, again, I don't think that's running anymore. All the original first issues of those. I've got a lot of fucking Batman. I read a lot of Batman, and I do love Batman, along with numerous other stuff. So, I am kind of like, yeah, this is fucking cool. I think this is it. Now, I can't give you much. There's a nice map of Gotham City in here. Whether that's purpose or not, I don't know. Some envelopes. We love an envelope. I love it. Extra component bits. Light rulebook and very basic stuff. There's some nice bits and pieces of art. I was initially a bit concerned because, we know detective games are cards with a lot of text on them. And I'm like, is this going to be a comic book game that has lots of cards with text on them? And is that going to be it? However, there looks like there's some cards with like actual comic book panels on them, and they looks like they might actually work in sequential art like a comic book. So I'm like, okay, cool. Now the only misgiving I have on all of this enterprise is that you're not playing as Batman, to the best of my knowledge. You are playing as either Vicky Vale, Bullock, one of the detectives in there. I was going to say Mark Spector, but not Mark Spector. Another character, and Catwoman. So that's the only disappointment so far I've got, because clearly everyone in a detective game wants to be Batman. I kind of understand what they've done with it. We'll see how it goes and how it all interacts. It will have a computer interface that works with that, and all of that stuff. I love the detective system. I love the games. I felt the original one was cool, if quirky, and great. I love just the system, and that worked really well with a group of you trying to go for it. There's been kind of a lot of diminishing returns to a certain extent. I did really enjoy the Vienna Connection, which is a Cold War espionage version of that. I thought worked really well. I played that solo, and I thought that worked excellently. I thought it was amazing in what it was doing, telling that story, though I felt its end was a bit lackluster. And then we had the June version of this, so the first sort of licensed type version onto this system, which, in my opinion, was an absolute clusterfuck. It was a mess. There was barely a game in there, and it just didn't work. It didn't work, and maybe it was just a poor choice of system and what it was. Kind of a feel, but yeah. So at the moment, the bar is set a bit lower for me for this, because number one, I'm a huge Batman fan. So, are you taking some stories that exist, or are you doing your own story, and is it going to stand up to some of the good Batman stuff we've had? And by God, there better be good detecting going on in here. Like, just saying. So there's that. The bar is kind of set lower, and off the back of the June game, which I found was massively disappointing. I hope that this is good. For your hope, Mr. McNasty, about hope is good. I'm a big Batman fan. My expectations are high-low for this. It's so far, we'll wait and see. But I hope that he does not disappoint. So there's that. So that's definitely, I think I'll probably end up playing mostly that solo. I'll see what it feels like when I start playing it. They work like that, but they do work well in the discussion mode. So I'll see. I'll see. Because maybe me and Charlie could play over Skype or something. I don't know. I'm just thinking because Charlie's a big comic book nerd as well. Car boot season is here, as we know. So look what I found this morning at the old car boot. Star Trek Next Generation interactive board game, VHS board game. Classic. I remember playing this a lot, and I think I mentioned it, or have mentioned it in passing in something else's video, maybe. Anyway, I remember playing this a lot, and remember this being really good fun. I'm never the world's biggest next gen fan, to be honest with you. I watched a chunk of it, but not obsessed. However, this, I know the basic gist of it. This worked really well with the VHS thing. And to be honest with you, aside from the box is a bit dinged up, this is pretty fucking mint. So much so, in fact, that it's still got original sticker sheet in there. I remember when we played this, you put these stickers on yourself to do with your ranking during the game. The only sticker missing is that's on a spinner in the game. It's like considering I don't know when this was, 90s, maybe early 90s. It's pretty good nick. It's all there. I can't see that there's anything missing. I'm impressed with that. There we go. There's a bit of that, and of course the classic. Who could we forget the good old-fashioned VHS tape and a catalogue. A catalogue of MB games from the time. There we go. Amazing. These are some random old glasses I found. I now look like a grandpa. Oh, there we go. MB games, family games. So we've got Challenge Yahtzee, original Yahtzee and score pad, travel pack games, win a box full of MB games, Game of Life. That's a fucking disaster. Dream Phone, go for broke. So pretty much they've not really done much about that. Then there's to win a box full of MB games. I think there's a question here. Oh, we just got to fill in stuff. Sex of the person who purchased this game, male or female. Sex of person receiving game. Why the obsession with this? Okay, fine. Huh? Was this game purchased for travel in a car? No, I don't think it was. For a dinner party. A holiday at home. A holiday at home. How quaint. Okay, fine. Yeah. Have you satellite TV or cable TV? If you know what state from which the store was purchased. Sorry, I've dribbled off marital status. They want to know the fucking everything. There's only children, everything. They literally want to know the fucking arm and leg of everything, and they're going to send you a box of shit games. So that's nice. That's a time capsule of nonsense. But yeah, I'm looking forward. You know what? It's still it's in good nick. To be fair, it's in pretty good nick. You remember these little things? You slide stuff in there. I don't remember the extent of it. And there's a spinner, and then there's some styling characters that they will walk around the ship doing stuff. If you've never played this, well then why not? No, it was a there was the boon of the VHS board game time at the time. We had Atmosphere, of course, which was all right. I think there was a few other stuff, but there was this, which was actually really well done. There was Star Wars one, which is up there. And a bit gimmicky and a bit silly. And this one had a Klingon kind of shouting at you throughout the duration of it. But I remember it being a lot of entertainment, really actually great good fun. I don't know why, because maybe it was Star Trek, I don't know. But I remember enjoying and playing a good few games of that. So yeah, it's nice to have. But yeah, there was a whole thing on at the time of that, a bit gimmicky and stuff. So there we go. That's the joys of the car boot. I'm disappointed with the car boots, to be honest. I was expecting more, and I haven't seen much at the moment. I was expecting more stuff. So it's a bit poor show, is what I'll say. So there's that. There's all of that. All the goodies. All the fun of the fair. There is a couple of videos I still need to drop because I've been lazy. There's Charlie's video that is ready to go. I just need to push the go button on that. There's another one I've got to finish editing of mine, which will be nearly ready to go, and other stuff. That's it really. I mean, we can get some more games played. Hopefully I can do that. Hopefully over this weekend we can play Guttenberg or something else, then maybe I can get the postscript bullshit session out of the way. That'd be kind of cool to do. So we'll see. Watch this space. I will attempt to do that. I've discussed it with the team and they are not averse to that idea. And that's it really. That's me fucking done. God damn it, I'm done. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Who Dares Rolls. There was some stuff. I will obviously look at Guttenberg and Batman, Everybody Lies and stuff as we go on, and I will drop some review or video content related to that, I promise. But for the time being, stay safe out there, look after yourselves, play some games, of course, enjoy the sunshine, and it's barbecue weather is coming, I feel. I've had a barbecue. It's very nice, thank you. Yes, and all that stuff. Summer's coming. Daylight is upon us. Lovely. Let's stay indoors and play games. Yeah. Fuck it. I'm off. I'm done. I've got stuff to do. Got to edit this. Shit like that. See you soon. Stay safe. Goodbye.